Hey, Mike, I'm out here at Gale Force Winds, and it's getting to me. Oh, now it's calming down a little. Oh, that's a nice breeze. Welcome to the Fantasy Podcast with Grindberg and bigz. I am bigz, Grindberg, and the other one is Schulte. I am just chilling here in my new and wearing my vegan Birkenstocks and get ready to talk some breezes and breakouts in the fantasy space. How are you guys doing?
Doing awesome, man. It is getting into the summer. It's getting hot, probably all over North America right now, and things are heating up, especially in the ADP front, where we're looking at guys that might be hitting a gold mine here this year and ADP value. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Schulte, what's going on with you, my man?
Hey, not too much. I'm doing pretty good tonight. Ready to talk some breezes.
Now I'm going to jump in here and give everybody a little bit of a teaser. Spoiler alert. I have made a flag plant into one specific team, and I did it in the show sheet, completely forgot about the show sheet, did a different show last night, and made the claim. And tonight I'm here to back it up.
Backing up his mouth. All right, folks. Well, let's get into these guys because we've each got 3 of our ADP breezes that are going to breeze through ADP this year. And Biggs, why don't you start us off with your first?
Well, I'll give the big reveal now. They are all Jets. Everybody is kind of out on Jets, similar to how everybody was kind of out on Raiders last year. And you look at what Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers were able to put together. We know Justin Fields is a top 10 quarterback when he is going to start 17 games. And we know that he's not great in the as an NFL quarterback, but in fantasy, his rushing upside is an absolute cheat code. Right now, he is going as quarterback 15. I am declaring right now, I have a 4-way flag plant I'm making. Justin Fields is going to finish in the top 10 of quarterbacks, and he's going at ADP 15. So wait around, just wait a little, hold it. Okay, now take Justin Fields, and you've got yourself a top 10 quarterback when other people are already taking their backup.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all that upside. Every year he's been a starter. He's finished in the top 10, and when he plays, he's just got that upside. That rushing ability is there, and you pair him up with his college teammate Garrett Wilson, and things might look a little bit different this year, Biggs. And I'm sure you got.
Don't give up the ghost that quick, baby. Let the watchers kind of sit on the vine for a bit and mature.
Okay. Well, then, Schulte, how about you get into your guy, and who's your number 3 ADP breezy breakout this year?
Well, it's my main man, Trevor Lawrence, and he is about QB 19 in a lot of redraft rankings right now, right in that ballpark. And when you're looking at his career overall, his rookie year with the Urban Meyer mess, he was still QB 23. He followed it up in 2022, QB 8. And he went on an absolute tear second half of the season, put the team on his back, led a playoff run, gave the Chiefs a run in the divisional round. He was awesome, man. 2 years ago in 23, he was still QB 13. And that second half of the season, that year, he was pretty banged up. He had a pretty bad shoulder injury he was playing through. He's still producing. Last year, only 9 games, QB 27. So that one's kind of a toss. Regardless, you look at the Urban year, he still almost finished as his ranking right now. And the 2 years he did play after that, he pretty much shattered his draft position. I'm looking for him to do the same thing this year. He's getting the offensive upgrade with Liam Cohen, who just rejuvenized Baker Mayfield. And he's going to give Trevor all the easy buttons Doug Peterson never gave him. We're looking at the best set of offensive weapons that he's ever played with Brian Thomas Jr. coming into his second year, and now Travis Hunter. Cohen is going to emphasize just giving these dudes the ball and letting them cook. And both of those dudes are electric in space, and you're going to get them the ball quickly, and they're going to make crap happen for Trevor, and he's going to get the points too. He's got a pretty solid rushing floor, similar to Pat Mahomes. He's going to get you 300-ish yards and a small number of touchdowns. QB 19 is pretty absurd here. I'm looking for him at worst, if he's playing a full season, to be a top-end QB2, and I will not be surprised at all when he finishes as a QB1 this year.
Well, Schultze, I really hope that it's an upgrade from crap, because last year was crap. And you mentioned you mentioned crap, so I'm really hoping that it's a lot better than the crap you put on the field last year and what the Jags did, because a lot of us in this room had a lot of Jag shares outside of like Brian Thomas Jr., who none of us were really on last year headed in. But yeah, we definitely didn't hit the nail on the head last year with this Jags.
He can't suck 2 years in a row.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Especially with the team he's got around him now. So, if there's anything signs are pointing up, yeah, that's the one to hit up. So hopefully he doesn't burn us 2 years in a row here, Schultze. Now, I'm going to talk about a guy that, not so much a breakout, but I think his ADP right now is screaming value. This offseason, there's been some splashy moves in the Rams. They made one impactful one by signing Davante Adams, and everybody should take notice. The headlines are about younger, more, guys that are coming into the league. Now we're talking about a guy that is, 32 years old. He's got a pedigree. He joins, Sean McVay's offense, and Matthew Stafford is his quarterback. So age is what we're talking about here, but age brings some veteran presence. And what's going to need to happen? The Rams were, pretty much in that whole playoff race right up until the end there. They were the team that put the most pressure on the Eagles, and I think they're really putting things towards another deep run here, and Davante Adams is going to be right there, and the fantasy community might be sleeping on him right now with recency bias, team changes, age concerns, but that's exactly why he's showing up on this week's list for me. Last season he averaged more fantasy points per game than Cooper Kupp, finished as a top 11 among wide receivers despite midseason quarterback disaster. Now he's going to be in with the quarterback that loves giving the ball to his wide receivers. He spreads it out pretty well. Davante Adams had 510 yards, 5 touchdowns in his final 5 games, showing that he's got a lot of juice left in the tank. A top 11 finish in 2024. Right now, his ADP is sitting at wide receiver 18 on NFFC, and on Underdog, he's wide receiver 19. I think he finishes this year, if he stays healthy, as a top 12 wide receiver, and that's why I think he's going to be a breezy breakout for 2025, guys. What do you guys think about Davante?
Well, let me ask you a question first. Has Davante Adams ever been known for speed?
No, not really.
No. Davante Adams wins with his brain. Davante Adams is an absolute elite route runner in the way that he sets up cornerbacks and finishes his routes. He's never been one with breakaway speed, but he's got really, really a ton of quickness in short areas, and he wins with his brain. He sets up his cornerback, his DB, he stacks him, and then he gets away. It reminds me a whole lot of another guy who played into his 40s, and that's Jerry Rice. Now, am I comping Davante Adams to Jerry Rice? I think I am in one respect. Not that Davante Adams is going to approach Jerry Rice's production totals, but he's going to age very, very well, because Jerry Rice was not a fast runner either. He won with his brains. He knew how to turn on a dime as soon as he caught the ball and escape from the DB that was on him. He knew how to, again, set up and stack his DB so that he could get away from him in a couple steps. Davante Adams is a very, very similar player, and I'm taking everywhere I can. I got him in Best Ball Mania. I got him in Dynasty. It's like Davante Adams is going to have a huge year. 120 targets or more for both Puka and Davante Adams this year.
Yeah,
I'm in on Adams big time, man. This is best quarterback he's been with since Green Bay, Rodgers. I mean, I don't think it's close.
Since Derek Carr, but yeah.
I love it. All right, okay, bigz. Let's get the show rolling on your number 2 guy. Probably going with this Jets theme again. So tell our viewers, what you got on the agenda here.
Yeah, it's another Jet, and it rhymes with Breeze. I'm talking about Breece. Breece Hall right now is going at running back 13. That's outside of RB1 territory, and a lot of people had Breece Hall pegged as a top 5 running back to finish last year. There is a little bit of a change to the landscape. Ashton Genty has come into the league. He is my current RB1. And Christian McCaffrey is coming back. He's kind of a wild card. We don't know what's going to happen with him. But Breece Hall had a down year last year. The team was terrible. They have upgrades on the offensive line. They signed a couple free agents. They drafted Armand Membo, who's going to play right tackle and is very, very athletic. He's going to create a whole lot of space around the edge for Breece Hall to run. We know Breece Hall's explosiveness. We know his pass catching ability. We know that he's a top 5 running back. And anytime you can look at an ADP list and you have a guy that has top 5 finishes or top 5 fantasy points per game averages, and he's outside of the top 12, you have to smash that. And, take Breece Hall in the second as quickly as you can, because he's absolutely going to outplay his RB13 ADP.
Schultz, you got anything to mention about that? You got anything to add to that Breece Hall take?
I mean, we had that one electric year. What was his second year in the league? Other than that, he's had some injuries. Last year, the offense was just not great. But yeah, I think we're going to see a step forward from the offense. And this dude is just so explosive and such a home run hitter that putting him at RB13 is just crazy, man. Like, he's going to get the volume. There's not much backfield competition there. I know they got Braylon Allen, but I don't think he's going to he's not going to do anything to where he's going to command himself on the field over Breece. Like, right. Yeah, this dude's a stud. And I think we just, people for the most part, just kind of forgotten about him. And that's nuts.
Well, his rookie profile was comped to Saquon Barkley's rookie profile. And that's kind of what happened with Saquon too. He had a few up and down years, basically resulting or because of injury. And so there have been draft years where Saquon Barkley was kind of suppressed down and then absolutely smashed. And I think we're going to see that from Breece again this year.
Yeah, it's a totally different offense too. I think last year's offense wasn't tailored towards Breece Hall's strengths. And this year, I think with the new regime in place, a new quarterback that, is going to rely on some pass protection, some, light boxes as well, I think is going to open things up for Breece Hall. And I really think that, this is going to be his year to get back onto the map. So, yeah, good call there, Biggs. Now, Schultz, who's your number 2 guy?
I'm going to go over to Chicago, and I'm going to go DeAndre Swift. Coming into the league, people had huge expectations for this dude, and he hasn't quite lived up to that. And, you've kind of gotten a discount on him ever since. He's around back end RB2 territory right now. Every year of his career, he's been between RB15 and 21. And that includes the years he's only playing 13, 14 games, which, the injuries have been a knock on this guy, right? You're getting the Ben Johnson upgrade. I think that is a huge deal, first of all. The Bears offense was a mess last year. So you are going to get some real stability from a dude who knows what's going on. And I don't think you can overlook that. The Bears offensive line last year was hot garbage, and they have invested pretty heavily here. They got Joe Tooney from the Chiefs, first team All-Pro left guard. Drew Dahlman came over from the Falcons. He was 4th rated center on PFF. So you're going to get some improvements there. And then they brought Jonah Jackson in to play right guard, he's been kind of a journeyman guy, and he's a pretty average player. But when you look at what the Bears were rolling out the past few seasons, average is fine, right? Especially when you look at the 2 other guys they added who are well above average. So I think the offensive line here is going to take a massive step forward, added on top of the scheme here. So fire me up some DeAndre Swift. He's going to catch 40-plus passes. That's happened every year of his career. He's the undisputed running back 1 on the team. People are pumping up some Roshan, and I like Roshan. I liked him coming out. I just don't think he's going to have the impact some people think he's going to. And then the only other dude in the backfield here is Kyle Monangai, who was a 7th-round pick. So I don't see Swift receiving that much competition for touches. And then, look, he only scored 6 touchdowns last year. So if we're looking for the Bears offense to take a step forward, you got to think he can easily approach double digits on the touchdown mark. So I'm looking for Swift to maybe not light the world on fire, but he's going to be a really solid RB2, high-end RB2.
The world's already on fire.
Well, yeah,
I really like that. Yeah, totally. I like that take up until the fact that Travis Etienne gets traded there and all those things go down the drain.
Whoa!
I'm still looking at Chicago, potentially making a move here. But I think the door's open. He actually dodged a lot of bullets through the draft, and maybe the Bears were looking at Trevion Henderson, and when he got snagged up by the Patriots, they had to pivot to Burden there, and doors open there. So I like the take there, Schultze.
I don't think the Bears need anything more than just depth pieces at this point. They don't need to go out and make a trade for Etienne. They've got DeAndre Swift and they've got Roschon Johnson, and they should be able to win as long as both those guys stay healthy. I also loved how Schultze said he's going to Chicago and his Indiana accent kind of came out. That was cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk about a guy who is also a running back, and I think he enters 2025 as one of the most overlooked, undervalued workhorses in fantasy football. Guy had 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns last year in a breakout 2024, and I'm talking about Chuba Hubbard, and the Panthers rewarded him with a 4-year, $33 million extension, confirming he's got that centerpiece backfield role despite Carolina's annual effort to replace him. Hubbard has emerged as a constant, a back who's not flashy, but outperforms expectations at every turn. The injuries to Jonathan Brooks and the uncertainty around Rico Dowdle and rookie Trevor Etienne clear the path for Hubbard to, again, handle the lion's share of the early down work and goal line work in an offense that should take a step forward with Bryce Young's development and improved weapons around him. Hubbard's got that red zone opportunity, and it could spike, which makes him a quiet candidate to finish as a top 12 back. While Hubbard hasn't flashed elite receiving upside, his rushing profile is solid as it gets. He's ranked top 5 in both rush yards over expected and rush yards over attempt. So I'm looking at his third year in the NFL to be very, very good. I'm going to expect him to have over 200 rush attempts with probably 30 to 40 catches, and in a Dave Canales offense who historically leans on a feature back, there's little reason for me to believe that Hubbard won't flirt with those large touches, and his current ADP has him outside the top 25 running backs. He presents the kind of high volume, low glamour asset that wins fantasy leagues in round 8 of your redraft league. So he's just not a handcuff right now. He is the locksmith for me.
Absolutely. I love Chuba this year. They really made a statement by not drafting a running back, and we know that they've got a kid who's in the building who's not going to be on the field this year. They signed Rico Dowdle to a very, very meager free agent contract, and I misspoke. They did draft a running back, but not one that's going to be a bell cow type. Trevor Etienne is absolutely a pass-catching third down option, and not much more than that at this point. So it's Chuba's show, and there's no way Rico Dowdle's gonna get involved there.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into our top guys, our top ADP breezes this year, we're gonna hear from our sponsor now. Schultze, you want to run the clip?
I do.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com. Go to our merch store. There's a ton of really, really great merch. Go pick up our rookie guide. We worked really, really hard to put together a rookie guide. So if you got your Dynasty startup or your Dynasty rookie draft coming up, you're going to want to have the analysis that we have provided to you with the best graphics team in the business on board as well. And then, of course, don't forget about with your pro membership, you qualify for our jersey leagues. And you can compete with the Fantasy Sports Advice Network experts in their jersey leagues. Go after the jersey of your choice. And, hey, you take it down, you get the jersey.
Love it, Biggs. I couldn't have said it better myself. We're into the nitty-gritty here. The most important guys that you need to have on your lineup when those drafts are coming around and you see their ADP floating around and you see this value. Now, Biggs, let's get into your spotlight. Schulte, run it.
All right, I'm on the pitching mound and I'm looking down. You're in the squat, giving me signs. You throw down a 2. What are you looking for?
Curveball.
Curveball, that's what I got for you now. Mason Taylor is going to be a top 12 tight end in 2025. Boom. But he's not my guy. That's the curveball. My guy is Garrett Wilson. So there is a whole bunch of there's a whole lot of layers into this whole, like, 4 Jets all finishing in the top 12 or top 10 at their position. Number one is the fact that 2 of the guys are elite at their positions. One is very, very good and has a clear path to being, one of the top 2 or 3 target getters in that offense. And then the other is maybe the improvement of Justin Fields on top of the fact that he has that rushing upside. So with Breece being a top 5 running back talent-wise, with Justin Fields having had top 10 quarterback performances in the past, we know what Garrett Wilson brings to the table. Now, some people may be saying the Jets offense suck. We've alluded to that a couple times. They made some upgrades to the offensive line. They've got a new offensive coordinator. They have a new quarterback. Things are in motion. Now, the thing that separates Garrett Wilson, especially in that talk when people are trying to downplay the Jets in fantasy, is we have seen Justin Fields support a wide receiver 1 finish in the past. He can do it. He may not complete 450 passes like some of the other guys, but he is at least going to go after Garrett Wilson for 130 to 160 targets. Garrett Wilson is going to be the beneficiary of Justin Fields' less than stellar EPA per play, but he's going to be the man in that offense. Garrett Wilson is currently being drafted at wide receiver 16, and he's going to return wide receiver 1 upside for you. And there's zero reason for him to be slipping that far. Grab him everywhere.
This is just Jets fatigue, man, or I don't know what you want to call it. He has seen like 150 targets every year in the league, and we just don't talk about this guy.
No, and that's not going to change. He came from the Ohio State tree where everybody is coming out elite, and he's just another one. From Terry McLaurin all the way down through Mika Ibuka this year. Every time somebody comes out from Ohio State, we know that they can play. Even Jamison Williams, who had to leave Ohio State to get playing time and go to Alabama, he's beginning to emerge. Not an immediate breakout like Wilson and Olave, et cetera, but they're doing the right thing. They got something funky in the water in Columbus, and the wide receivers are drinking it. And Garrett Wilson is just another one.
Yeah, I mean, you're pairing him up with this college quarterback who hyper-targeted him there, so I don't see a difference here. Look at what, Justin Fields did with DJ Moore when they were back in Chicago, and DJ Moore had his most targeted season. I don't see anything different here. What do they have? Mason Taylor as their number 2 target as a rookie, and nothing against Mason Taylor. I think he's going to have a great season, like Big said, and I'm right on board with the Mason Taylor train. But there's nobody else. Arian Smith, a rookie, Malaki Corley, not much out.
He's hurt
there. Yeah, exactly. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at hyper-targeted Garrett Wilson and a Breece Hall breakout. This is writings on the wall here, folks. And Schulte, let's get your spotlight, buddy.
All right, I'm going to go talk about some Quinshon Judkins. Now, in the rookie draft season, I wasn't as high as some people have been on him. And I had guys like, I had his teammate Travion ahead of him. And that, a lot of people didn't. I'm not as bullish on him in Dynasty, but for redraft this year, I think he is an absolute smash play. And he's a good, big, strong runner. He's great between the tackles. He's got that early down role locked up. Like, the only competition is going to be Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson, who Jerome Ford ain't touching him. And then Sampson's going to be, a kind of change of pace receiving guy. So this is all based on volume right here. You can get him as a mid RB3 around RB30. And I just think that's a foolish ranking when you look at the volume this guy's going to get as a rookie. When you look at going back to 2021, here's all the running backs that were drafted in the round 1 or 2. You got Jonathan Brooks. He doesn't count. He was injured. Bijan got a ton of carries, was RB9. Gibbs, ton of work, RB10. Now, I'm not saying he's as talented as those two. However, you're going to keep going back. Charbonnet, that's a weird one because they already had Walker locked in as a workhorse, so that was kind of a weird pick. He didn't get a ton of work. You go to Breece. He only played in 7 games, but had he gotten the work, he would have been right up there. Ken Walker, he was RB18 with 200-plus carries. James Cook only had 91 carries because they still had Singletary in town, but if you pace that out to over 200, he would have been right there too. Najee had over 300 carries, RB3. Travis Etienne was injured. And then you look at Javonte Williams with 203 carries, RB17. Quinshon Judkins is probably going to get 250 carries this year. And just based on that alone, he's going to be an RB2. Now, he's going to be slotted right in as a goal line back. He's strong. He was a touchdown machine in college. So, like, double-digit touchdowns this year for this guy is not out of the question. I think it's absolutely silly to be drafting this dude as a mid RB3 when you know for a fact he's going to get smashed on volume. They're going to ride this dude early because that's what teams do when they draft a running back in the first 2 rounds. So go draft Quinshon at value, and you're gonna not regret that.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, bigz.
No, I was in one of my rookie drafts, and I was on the clock. I had the 106 or 107, I forget which, and I got put on the clock at 2:45 in the morning, and woke up about 2 o'clock the next afternoon and found that I had been auto-picked because the clock was wonky, and I wanted Jackson Dart in that spot, but it auto-drafted Quinshon Judkins for me. Throughout the course of the draft, I made some moves to deal with the quarterback position, and the further I got away from being auto-picked Quinshon, the more and more that I like it. Watching some of his camp film, he looks great. And I feel like I was too low on him, and now I'm starting to buy it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I like Schulte said, maybe not a long-term dynasty guy based off his running style and stuff like that. He's got a couple really solid years, and this year specifically, I think that without a real solidified quarterback situation, they're going to rely again on the run game like crazy. 250 rush attempts. I think that he could be maybe even pushing 300 at this stage, thinking about how young he is, how much he can run, and if he can stay healthy, and how much they're going to need to use him. That's a great call. And that top 5 dynasty running back group here in 2025 is full of studs. And I'm not sure, in 5 years, we may have all of them still as top 5 guys at this stage. So looking really
special.
Yeah,
and don't worry, he's got Flacco this year and Nussmeier next year, so he should be in pretty good shape.
There you have it. All right, Chelsea, run the clip for my spotlight. All right. Well, I'm going to talk about Cam Ward, and I think, his journey from a 0-star recruit to the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft isn't just a field goal story. It's a fantasy football alert beacon blinking in a broad daylight. So let's talk about Cam Ward, and he steps into Tennessee as, a quarterback with a cannon of an arm, a gunslinger mentality, and an underrated ability to avoid mistakes. He won't offer that dual threat rushing upside like some of these other quarterbacks, but he brings to the table an even rarer polished pocket presence, elite touch on intermediate throws, and a knack for putting the ball where only the guy he can get it. And with the receiving core he has, there is some reason for optimism. He inherits a retooled Titans offense that features Calvin Ridley, who a lot of us in this room are very high on headed into 2025. Tyler Lockett, a proven veteran, and former first-round pick Treylon Burks is also in the room, and I can't forget Chig Okonkwo, who is a talk of a lot of these tight end circles right now, all capable of making plays, and Ward will deliver the ball on time and in rhythm. And I think that this situation here has got him set up for success with first-year OC Nick Holtz. He's installing a system built around Ward's arm. The rookie could take off sooner than expected. He's not in redraft QB1 territory yet, but as a late-round dart throw with a rocket arm and a weapon and job security, Ward has quietly become one of the best values to me in 2025. 158 career passing touchdowns, the most in NCAA history, 76% adjusted completion rate in 2024. That is a monstrous completion percentage. And if he translates some of that into the NFL with the receiving weapons he has, I'm looking for Cam Ward to have a really good season. He won't win you a week in week 1, but he might win you weeks 10 through 17, where, you know, that's where it matters and the grease really is needed. And I'm looking for Cam Ward to have a really strong finish to 2025 and a really good value when you think about where you can get him in drafts right now.
He's definitely a sleeper, and I have him ranked. I keep going back and forth in my rankings and flipping him and Geno Smith back and forth. Wherever I have Smith, I have Ward right behind him, or I have Ward just ahead of him. The statement you made about rushing upside not really being there, not on a cheat code level, but he's certainly athletic enough to do what Geno Smith does and rush for 300 or 350 yards in the season. 250 to 350. Let's go ahead and pull that back a little bit. Geno's not a spring chicken, but Cam Ward can hit that. I see both of them hitting right around 4,000 yards, right around 25 touchdowns, and right around 250 to 350 yards rushing. And I think they're going to score very similarly this year.
I think the thing for Ward that I'm in on is when you look at, most people have him ranked in like the bottom 5 of starting quarterbacks. And I get it. He's a rookie and the team's not going to be great. But when you look at a team who's not going to be great, that's going to give him a lot of garbage time opportunities when they're losing games and they're just letting this guy rip it in the second half to see what they got in him. And that equates fantasy points. Doesn't matter when they come, how you get them, they still count.
I told Chev that it was going to be Raiders Titans week 1 of the playoffs wild card game.
Perfect. I mean that could be a really high scoring situation here, and I'm all for it. I love it. bigz, that's it for this week's show. Tell us a little bit more about what's going on at FSAN, and take us home like you always do so great.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on over at FSAN. We have a new partnership with Drafters, so go play some Drafters best ball. We also have a fantastic merch store, and the Fantasy Sports Advice Network website has been retooled. We, just go get the rookie guide, go get some cool merch, keep liking and subscribing and watching. This show is growing very, very quickly, and I love to see it, because we're giving you guys the edge that you need, like a flag plant that says that Garrett Wilson, Justin Fields, Breece Hall, and Mason Taylor are all going to be top 12 at their positions. Nobody else is saying that. You're getting that here on the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. We hope you win.
Hope you win, folks.
Peace. We hope you win.